Money in the Bank is around the corner, and it's time for us to give you our 6 picks to win. 3 men and 3 women. Might as well start off with... Hold on.
I say, hold up. Wait a minute.
Uh-oh. Talk to the hand.
Before we get on what the Money in the Bank means, I want to talk about that a little bit. What Vince McMahon described it as is the heels Royal Rumble winner.
Okay.
Right? And I think most of our picks are probably going to lean towards guys who and women who could be heels or are heels.
Are heels, yes.
Because I think this is usually the best way for, like, think about it. No face would ever cash in the middle of a match like that.
100%. No, none. Every time a person has face has won, they always do the noble thing. RVD, I challenge you at one night stand. Exactly. Or John Cena, I challenge you. Like, he doesn't. They do the noble thing and cash in. That's boring. Right? I don't want to see that. You could just ask for a title match. Right? That's the same thing.
All right, our first wrestler from the men's side, I'm going to say it's Seth Rollins who wins it all.
Seth freaking Rollins. Bro.
Exactly. And I think the reason why he wins is because right now the WWE is lacking one of those threats, right? And Seth Rollins and his faction is supposed to be that threat, but they still don't feel like they are.
Yeah.
Because they don't really own any power. They don't own the world title at all. So I think that's why they end up winning. And the way they win is we got this big pay-per-view. We got this Saturday night main event coming up on Saturday where there's a tag team match, and I think they're going to reveal a third man. It could be Sami Zayn.
Is he the third man? He's the third man.
It could be somebody else, but I think they're going to reveal a third man this weekend, and then we'll have a huge stacked group of guys behind Seth Rollins who are going to help him win the world title somehow. And I think he ends up qualifying for the Money in the Bank ladder match after it happens, and then he's going to end up winning with the help of those guys. I think he cashes in at the perfect time too. I think he cashes in because night after Money in the Bank, they're gonna have a one match between Gunther and whoever the champ is, and I think that match is gonna be a war. And then the cash in from Seth Rollins will be perfect because then, easy pickings, just takes it off whoever he wants. And they're already kind of setting it up too with the whole Gunther and Seth Rollins behind the stage, backstage, and they have Jey Uso and Paul Heyman talking backstage. They're kind of setting up a Seth Rollins cash in here. Yeah. And I think the minute it happens, we're gonna get a legit threat, and it's gonna be big for the summer for WWE, and that's what they kind of need. They need some threat, and I think this is the group that's gonna
get it. We already know it's gonna be Jey Uso versus Gunther. We already know that. They're not gonna do anything major at Saturday night main event.
Of course,
it's just like a house card. Right? But I agree with you. I think you're 100% right. That's what they're missing. The key thing is they're missing the power.
Yeah,
like, it's not like a good faction. If you don't have any power, like, you're not a good faction at all.
You're not.
Like, you gotta have a bit of power. You gotta have some control. That's why Evolution was like Evolution, because they had all the titles.
That's why the Bloodline was Bloodline, because they had all the titles.
They were just running the whole organization, and they were running their SmackDown or Raw, wherever it was, whichever show they were on, and that's what they need right now. Because like, it's just when they don't have anything and they're making threats, it's like empty threats. Like, like Seth Rollins, like the future runs through me, but Seth Rollins, he ain't got no control.
Yeah.
He got nothing.
And the belt kind of makes you into a monster heel too, because like you have something to lose. Right now, you're just running around talking all this shit about who you are, but you're nobody.
You got nothing to lose. All right, so for the next person we got for the women's side, I went with our first pick. I guess I would go with Chelsea Green. I think it's kind of obvious. Whenever she's on TV, she always makes whatever it is the most of it. Yeah. Any match she's in, it's always great. I think she has a great finisher, even though she stole from Christian. But I think this is the next bump for her. Like, the next move is for her to get a chance at the title. And like you said in the beginning of the intro, she's the perfect heel to win the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And it'd be like a great stepping stone for her to
elevate her
game. And as to how I think she's gonna win, I think it's gonna be the same way she lost. She lost by taking a massive bump when TV Time pushed her off the ladder. I think she's gonna do that to someone else. Maybe that might be Becky Lynch. Might be someone.
It might be Meechin, because everybody loves a good old Chelsea Green versus Meechin match. Right?
Yeah,
classic. It's a classic.
And as for when I think she's gonna cash in, probably SummerSlam, or I could see, since she's Canadian, using it in a Canadian market.
Yeah,
that would probably the best move to do with her, because you gotta wait for, like, Triple H loves to have the fans go home with their own.
I think Money in the Bank is already, like, whenever somebody cashes in, it's already a massive what do you call what's the word? There's a massive pop already when people cash in. Like 100%. We've seen before multiple times. And I think in a Canadian market, and her winning at hometown, it's gonna be huge. I think it's gonna be like the loudest ovation you'll ever hear, and she deserves it too, right? Like you said, 100%. She's been working her ass off.
We should also mention she did lose her qualifying match, but we kind of hope that she'll get another chance.
She 100% is gonna get another chance. There's no way you keep her out of the match. She's been good at what she does. She carried the United States Championship for a long time. She's gonna get another chance, and she should be in this match.
All right, the next person we got is LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? It's kind of obvious why I think he should win the match. It's getting boring with this whole bloodline feud, right?
And the U.S. title, too.
U.S. title is getting boring. It's him versus Solo. It's him and Solo are beefing. Him and
Jacob,
him and Shinsuke Nakamura, him and Melo, him and Andrade. It's time for him to move up, right?
I think he's leveled up too above the United States Championship too now at this point, because like the title is kind of a mid-card title, and I think he's kind of elevating himself into an actual main event type of wrestler.
I feel like Vito Corleone and Godfather. Like, look what you done to my boy, right? He was like the biggest star for like the last 2 years. Now he's losing to JC on just SmackDown. And it's like, come on, what are we doing? Like,
JC. I was like, who the fuck's JC?
That's what they call him now. But like in my opinion, I think it's you're 100% right. I think he's just as big a star as Jey Uso, and he's more talented, and he's better on the mic. I think he has everything that you need, and for him to win would be perfect, because you know what, he could also go back to that heel character.
Of course,
Knight,
that's
right?
what I was thinking too, because he's a great heel. He was a great heel last year. I think if it's his act has gotten not stale, but it's like not as fun as it once was. I think going heel would actually elevate it again.
100%. And this would be a great time for him to cash in. It probably would be the best against John Cena. Yeah. Right? Because him and John Cena already have that little bit of tension.
Or even like they have some kind of
history. Sorry, it's just history would probably be the better word. And in that sense, like he could it'd be perfect for him to have a match with John Cena, because how John Cena talked about him. And in other interviews before he came back, and it'd be perfect just like to have another guy to push LA Knight again a little bit further. And I think if this wouldn't be a SummerSlam thing, I think SummerSlam is probably another bigger match. It's probably like either CM Punk,
Cody Rhodes,
right? I think he's probably gonna be one of those main events probably later on in the year, probably like in between like September, October, November, like in that time before John Cena retires and has his last match.
I could even see a heel turn and him cashing in on Jey Uso, because we think he's better than Jey Uso. I think him and Jey Uso are kind of the same type of wrestler who would win the world title too. And I think
100%.
the WWE title, they're gonna keep protecting it for guys who they think is the company man. I think the world title is gonna go to the People's Champ.
The People's Champ, the hardworking guys.
The hardworking guy, the guy who gets the pop from the fans, and those type of people, like LA Knight, Jey Uso. So I can see him going for that title instead. I think the second woman who actually deserves to win the Money in the Bank is Roxanne Perez. I think it makes the most sense because we just saw Tiffany Stratton win last year. I think the next person would be Roxanne Perez, who follows up in her footsteps in a way. I think it adds a lot too, because she's coming into this Judgment Day storyline where they're trying to bring her in and Finn Balor's trying to bring her in and recruit her. And I think a lot of people are saying, hey, they're going to bring her in to cause a rift between Liv Morgan and Raquel. And I can see that because I think Raquel and Roxanne both speak Spanish, so they both have like a little bit of a connection there. So I can see that happening, kind of stealing her away from her own TV best friend. And then, you know what? Even if she wins, I think she gets help from Raquel when she wins. I think the person she casts it in on would be Liv Morgan too. I think Liv Morgan is. I just thought about this right now. I think Io Sky ends up losing to Liv Morgan, and then she cashes in on Liv Morgan, and they kick her out of Judgment Day like that. That would make a lot of sense, right?
That would make Dominic Mysterio with another girl. Moves on. He's moving on.
Third girl. Hey,
he's got game. He's
killing it.
Right?
I think Roxanne Perez too. Like out of all the young up and coming wrestlers, she's probably one of the more talented ones too, and she's been like working in NXT for a while, and I think they've been pushing her and helping her get to the step for a long time. So it makes a lot of sense for her to win now.
Everybody's been saying it online. Karrion Kross. It's kind of obvious pick that we should have. It just seems like he's being underutilized as a talent, right?
Yeah.
He's not on the Raw show. It's always like someone else.
You'd expect him to be on TV because they were like, he got the huge reaction on social media. I'm surprised they still haven't put him on TV in a month.
I don't know either. I don't know what they're doing with this guy, but like
he's off TV longer than Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, 100%. It seems like he's a waste. And every single time he shows up, he gets a massive pop. He's at WrestleMania. They go pop for him. He's at
was he like the third highest or the highest
selling merchandise sales, and they still don't put him on TV. I don't know what the hell's going on, but it's a great step because he's huge right now. Like we've been talking about with the fans, and it's like it'd be a shocking win for him to. Win the title, win the Money in the Bank, and like you said, it's a heels thing. It's a heels Royal Rumble, right?
I also think out of the three people we mentioned, he needs it the most. I think LA Knight is already like, he's on TV every week.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is Seth Rollins. I think Karrion Kross needs to win to get himself into that picture too. And I think the WWE has been missing the mark on him so far.
Yeah, 100%.
Could be the move for them.
You know what? What if they add? We talked about the faction thing. What if he was the third man in the faction?
Oh yeah, with Finn Balor. What if Finn Balor's created his own faction with Karrion Kross?
Oh, that would be
Karrion Kross, Finn Balor, Roxanne Perez, and they're doing their own thing. I think Seth Rollins' faction might be too big for him, and I think he might be like too.
Finn Balor, you need to be mid card faction.
Yeah, I think like maybe not even Finn. They could be like a fucking new bullet club, like you were saying before. Like, that could be what's going on, but who knows? He could probably be part of a new faction as well.
And this would be perfect because him winning the title, it would be a great way of him like manipulating his way to the title.
Yeah,
like try to the Money in the Bank and to the title.
Yeah,
like using other people to do his dirty work, and he just comes in and steals thunder because that's his character, right?
It is.
Even though he's a great wrestler, like he's great. I saw the Bloodsport match. Yeah, he was great in that, and he could break your arm with he could break that baseball bat. 3 baseball bats with his arm. He's a jiu-jitsu master and everything. I think he's maybe a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And it just seems like he seems like the kind of guy that would be perfect because he has charisma. He's got the in-ring ability. Oh yeah, I kind of feel like he's better than most of these other guys that are in the mid-card level, in my opinion. Like Solo Sikoa, we're using it, like we keep doing the bloodline thing. Once again, nepotism, all right? Nepotism ruining this company, all right?
I think with Karrion Kross, I'm surprised that he hasn't been taken advantage of or pushed like this. Especially now that he's started catching on with the fans, because I think the Triple H did give him opportunities up until last year with like his faction having a match at WrestleMania. Yeah. And I know back in the NXT days, he was one of Triple H's like main guys at like near the end of the bubble, right before the bubble started, I think, and into the bubble, the COVID bubble. I'm surprised that he's not being utilized now with all the fans reacting this way. I think Triple H just like has such a long-term booking thing, but I feel like you gotta speed it up a little bit. Yeah, you gotta speed up a little bit. Now's the time to capitalize on this guy's what do you call it? His popularity.
His popularity, 100%. And this was because, like you said, heels. Like he would be the perfect guy to cash it in on a random like main event. Yeah. Or maybe a random like Raw thing.
Or like we were saying, the timer. Yeah, the timer would be a great idea because when he showed up on SmackDown, he returned. He had a timer and he showed Drew McIntyre, whoever it was, I'm gonna take you out. I think it was the bloodline. Yeah, he showed the bloodline and he's like, I'm gonna take you out this time. He could bring a timer and do it for a certain wrestler, and every week the timer.
That'd be great. So we already know that the Money in the Bank doesn't have to be used for the world title.
It doesn't.
Austin Theory used it for the.
No, I want a world title. Screw that. The mid card was only one off. You don't do that anymore.
We don't do that anymore.
No. Okay, the last woman to win the Money in the Bank, in our opinion, is Naomi. I think she's been doing such great character work the last few months. Ever since she turned into a heel, she's been killing it. I think she might be the best heel in the company outside of Chelsea Green. Yeah. But an actual straight up heel, like in terms of she's actually trying to hurt people, that's her. She's probably the best example. I also think she's earned it because she's been in the WWE for how long? She left and she came back and she built a lot of equity when she left the WWE. She built a lot of value in herself in the indie scene, in TNA and stuff like that. And then she came back and now she's getting used in the right way. I think that her winning is the perfect way too. I think Jade Cargill probably be in this match as well. It has to. It has to be. And I think she gets knocked off the ladder by Naomi, and Naomi ends up winning. And then even cashing in makes more sense because she could cash in on Bianca Belair. Yeah. And Bianca Belair is probably going to win a championship when she comes back. At some point, she hasn't been champion in so long, and Naomi cashing in on her makes so much sense because the story it's been written for the WWE for so long, right?
I agree with everything you said. Like it just seems like she's like popping at the right time. Yeah. And this is perfect because I kind of feel like there's a little vacuum on SmackDown for a good heel. Yeah. Like, and there's no, like, other than like Chelsea Green, we 100% agree. But Chelsea Green's also more of a comedic side and a good heel. Right? Yeah. She's also used for comedy, but like you said in the beginning, Naomi's just a straight heel. And she's just, and that's what WWE is missing because Tiffy, she's in between. Charlotte, I don't know what's going on with Charlotte, and I don't know. We don't know the story between Alexa Bliss either, right? So that we're gonna have to wait for what's going on with that storyline.
Those are our 6 wrestlers that we think should win the Money in the Bank. The 3 men and 3 women. Let us know who you think should win in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, like I said, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.